IPMI building has 14 theater-shaped classrooms and flat classrooms plus one auditorium. These classrooms adapted from the class format in Harvard Business School, which is the most effective model for a business class.
Hi, my name is Wahyu Madio Basuki. I am a Professor Roy Sembel's MBA student from IPMI Institute, Jakarta.
Hello everybody, my name is Valentina and I'm an MBA student at IPMI Institute.
Hello everyone, I am Adianto Juniadio Pakoso. I am Professor Roy Sembel student.
Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Yulitari Flora Teresa Hutapea. I am an MBA student at IPMI. Currently, I'm taking a corporate finance course which is being mentored by Prof. Roy Sembel.
Hello everyone, my name is Ari Genapa Husik. You can call me Ari. I am an MBA student at IPMI Institute, Jakarta.
What we are going to do now is to do a book review, What the CEO Wants You to Know, written by Ram Charan. Enjoy it.
I think this book demystifies what it takes to run a successful business by focusing on the universal principles that every CEO prioritizes. In this video, I'll be highlighting some of the key takeaways from the first two parts of the book, and I will explain how this will help us think and act like a CEO no matter the role that you take in that business. I think a small summary first, which is like that every business has the same fundamentals. That is the main concept that's being discussed. This is true for whether it is a street stall or maybe it's a Fortune 500 company or it's a profit or non-profit company or non-profit organization. Great CEOs possess the two great characteristics. One is like possess the great business acumen, and two is to help everybody in the company understand these fundamentals. So these are two very important characteristics of a CEO. Now, I think this book's insights are relevant for business leaders or anybody who wishes to make a bigger impact in their work. They're especially helpful for two individuals or two groups of people. One, millennials that are born between the years of 1982 and 2000 who are probably propelling the digital revolution and holding the key leadership positions in the coming decades. And the second group of people is the B2B, the business-to-business salespeople who must understand their clients' businesses in order to prove that they bring the real value. Now, all businesses, regardless their size, type of industry, have the same four building blocks: customers, cash generation, return on investment capital, and growth. Operating a public listed company, of course, is more complex than running a street stall, but yet they have the same fundamentals. A street vendor merely juggles all four building blocks in his mind, while a larger corporation is putting them in a larger or bigger scale by dividing it into different divisions with their teams. And that still brings them into the four. For any industry, they will still have to apply the four building blocks, which is one, to satisfy their customers better than their competitors; two, to generate enough cash to stay in business; three, to produce a good return on their investment; and third, to grow their business to be more profitable. In order to do well, a business must always master these four fundamentals and integrate them. Now, the first part of the book, which is titled The Universal Principles of a Business, it lays out a bit of a foundation of what the business is. For example, Ram Charan will begin explaining a little bit like a comparison between how running a multinational corporation shares the same principles as managing a small street side business, because their focus is on the four fundamental drivers, which is the cash, which is the lifeblood of any business. It's all about ensuring that there is enough cash coming from their operations in order to sustain more operations and also to fund the growth. Two, the margins, the gap between what it costs to produce a product or a service and what you will sell it for. Like stronger margins will signal more efficiency and more profitability. Third is the velocity, which measures the speed at which resources are being turned into cash or profits. Faster velocity often means better financial performance. Sustainable growth is the ultimate goal of a business, expanding revenue streams and customer base while also staying efficient. I think this section is quite important into teaching us what we want to understand, the basic that will enable us to approach any business more confidently, whether we are managers or whether we are entrepreneurs. And then part two, which is titled Thinking Like a CEO, which is my favorite part actually. Charan will dive into explaining how CEOs will think and how they make their decisions. It's not about knowing every technical detail, but it's about seeing the bigger picture and focusing on the essentials. Like CEO will create and also concentrate on questions like how can we increase the cash flow? How can we maximize our margins without cutting any corners? How can we speed up the operations to create value faster? I think one of the key insights from this section is how CEOs will align their team with these goals. I think this would be what we call the bigger scale for a corporation compared to a small stall business. For example, if you understand how your role contributes to the cash flow or improves the customer satisfaction, you're not just doing your job, you're helping the business succeed at the higher level. So Charam will share some practical examples like how retailers will manage their inventory velocity or how manufacturers will optimize their margins to show how these principles actually work in real life. So that's about the part 2. I believe that the first 2 parts of what the CEO wants you to know are very, very insightful. And also, Ram will transform these terms into how we can view the business into a universal way. Every business will focus on cash, margins, velocity, and growth and apply it to every organization. While a CEO mindset will think on a larger scale, like think of the challenges and want us to think more strategically, it will still align with the long-term goals, but it applies the same for every organization. Whether you're a business leader or whether you are a small business owner, I believe that this book is actually very highly recommended for you to read if you want to understand how your role can actually take up more of an impact towards your business or towards the business that you want to go for. I think that's it for me. I'll pass it on to my teammate.
Alright everyone, let's start our discussion with cash generation. In cash generation, don't lose sight of it, because there's a difference between all the cash that flows into your business and all the cash that flows out in a given time period. And as a business person want to know, does the business generate enough cash? The source of its cash generation, and lastly, the cash being used. Business people who fail to ask this question or don't figure out the answers eventually stumble. Therefore, cash generation can be a problem for even the largest company for any number of reasons, such as margins are too low, expenses are too high, and lastly, takes too long to correct the receivable. Next topic is related with growth. In this book, it discusses about good growth. Good growth is profitable, organic, differentiated, and sustainable. Let's look at all the 4 factors, shall we? First one is profitable. Good growth has to be not only profitable but capital efficient, which means it needs to earn amount greater than the company could receive by putting its money in something ultra safe. For example, treasury bill. Second one, organic. The best growth naturally follows out what the company is already doing. Not only is that efficient, but it also builds the company or the organization creative muscle. Differentiated. You never want to provide a product or service that is seen as a commodity. Customer must prefer it. Otherwise, you will never make very much money. Last one, sustainable. You are not looking for a quick spike in revenue. You must set a goal. The goal is to have a goal to continue year after year. Let's move on to the next topic, which is related to return on invested capital. Before we go deeper, let's talk about the formula first. The formula of return on invested capital is net income divided by total income. Sometimes people use return on equity and return on asset to determine the company's share or asset divided by the debt. This book also discusses further about velocity. Velocity can be described as the idea of speed, turnover, and movement, which correlate with inventory turns. Inventory turns can be described as how quickly the inventory moves. This book also gives a formula of return. The formula of return is margin times velocity. This book also describes for the growth books. As you can see, the growth books is a simple yet effective tool to try to spot new opportunities. You only need to ask 4 questions. First question, how can we fill an existing need our current customer have, related with box A? Second question, what new needs can we satisfy for our customers, related with box B? Third question, should we go after new customers who have new needs, related with box C? Lastly, how can we sell what we have to new customers, related with box D? So this is my last part, the total business. If you and your company are going to succeed, you need to truly understand the business. The element of money making, such as customers, cash generation, return on invested capital, and growth can all be measured. But you just don't want to memorize the ways to do it. What we want to do is understand the four building blocks of a profitable organization, know how to combine them to create a mental picture so you can figure out well any organization by investment yours is doing. However, a true business person masters the relationship among customers, cash generation, return on invested capital, and revenue growth to get an intuitive grasp of the total business.
I will review from chapters 4 about total business until chapter 6 about from making money to creating wealth. In this section, Ramcharang discussed the core elements of business success, which lie in 4 fundamental components such as cash, customers, invested capital, and profitable growth. Cash is a primary element that reflects a company's ability to sustain operations and reinvest into the business. Customers are at the heart of every business. Understanding their needs, creating value, and building loyalty are crucial to ensuring the company's sustainability. Invested capital must be managed efficiently to deliver optimal returns, while profitable growth should be organic, sustainable, and focused on creating value rather than merely increasing sales figures. The author emphasizes the importance of a holistic understanding of business, where every individual in the organization needs to move beyond departmental silos to understand how the company functions as a whole. This includes the interconnection between inventory turnover, profit margins, and capital management to create efficiency and profitability. The author provides examples from the retail industry where fast inventory turnover or velocity becomes a key way to improve capital efficiency and profitability. When goods move quickly, the capital can be redeployed more effectively, providing flexibility to respond to market demands. The Amazon case study is a significant highlight of this section. Amazon utilized a combination of cash management, innovation, and a customer satisfaction to drive exceptional growth. Their focus on customer experience, product innovation, and technology integration exemplifies how large business can succeed by understanding and optimizing fundamental business elements. The author also highlights how small traders apply the same principle as a CEO of a large company. Small traders buy at a low price, sell at small margins, and rely on quick turnover to generate daily profit. This demonstrates that at its core, business principles remain universal regardless of the size or scale of the enterprise. The author also explored the concept of managed price to earning as one of the critical metrics in the business world. Price to earnings is a ratio that measures a company's stock price relative to its earnings per share, providing insight into how the market evaluates the company performance and prospects. A company that effectively manages their price to earning ratio tend to attract more investments because they are perceived as having stable growth prospects. A high price to earning ratio can indicate market confidence in the company's ability to generate future earnings, but it must be balanced with tangible results. There are 3 strategies in managing price to earning, such as the first, transparency and trust, providing clear and transparent financial reports to assure investors. The second, earning management, maintaining stable earnings growth to build trust in the capital market. And the last is effective communication, engaging with shareholders to articulate the company growth strategies, helping them understand how capital management supports earnings growth. Managed price to earning is not only relevant for CEO but also for managers at all levels. Understanding how business operations impact the company earnings can help create efficiently, ultimately improving the financial performance and market perception. This section underscores that the fundamental principle of business, satisfying customer, generating cash, managing capital wisely, and achieving profitable growth are universal and should be understood by everyone within the organization. Here's the review of the book What the CEO Wants You to Know, written by Ramcharan, covering chapter 4 to chapter 6. The next chapter will be reviewed by another team member of mine. Thank you.
Okay, for the first, I want to tell you about putting everything together, how Amazon makes money. By now, you understand the harmful of things that will determine if your organization, whether you work for a business, a non-profit, or a government agency, will succeed, and you know the fundamental don't differ whether you are running a Princeton or a Fortune 500 company. Every organization must manage its cash effectively, use its assets wisely, constantly improve and grow and serve its customer. The point is to concentrate on the things that makes your company thrives. Number 1, taking care of customer. Number 2, generating cash. Number 3, earning a good return on invested capital. And number 4, growing profitably. And if you can show your customer that your product will create more value for them, you'll make more sales. And if you show your own company that you understand what you'll provide more value for it, you will be promoted. Okay, next I will tell about place your bets. In 2016, only about 8% of total US retail sales was a commercial transaction, according to S&P Capital IQ. But the number is growing at 10% a year faster than retail as whole, and Amazon had a majority of the growth in US e-commerce sales in 2016. So, if you are a retail, you need to make technology spending a priority, as Amazon is doing today and is expected to continue to do going forward. You know, Amazon is a technology company. From the platform on which you order what you want to the automation of its warehouse, it is now the Google of retailing. Its spending on technology reflects that every business has one or two drivers that will determine its success in the future. You want to see that the company is investing in what will keep it competitive, and you hope more than competitive and create value for the customer and the corporation. As you will see then when we discuss Amazon's earning, the company is not overly interested in making large profit. It is spending most of what is earning to grow. Okay, next, when less is more. While you want to see the same or more spending every year in the areas that are pivot to the company growth, conversely, you also want to see that a company keeping tight rein on general and administration expenses. This is corporate overhead, which include the cost of running the head office and its warehouse, paying for the company accountings and lawyers, and making sure the organization is in compliance with all government regulation. What have we learned? The relatively few numbers are really all you need to look at to get a good understanding of the financial shapes of Amazon. And the company is the same way a doctor uses certain measurements like your pulse, blood pressure, and weight to help diagnose your health, and organization financial can help you diagnose the health of your company or any company. You can see Amazon is taking care of the business fundamental. The numbers show it serves its customer, growing profitably, and using the money wisely. Indeed, it is a cash machine. If its success continue, you will generate even more cash, which all can use experiment, take risk, and come up with the new product, search, and approach to satisfy its customer even more. Okay, next, from the Rancaran, we learn about the key of the success in business, the right people in the right jobs. Every business needs the right people in the right jobs. Leaders who deliver results consistently over a long period of time are the ones who recognize what an individual can do best. The link the business need and the person natural talent that takes time and effort to place individual where their strength can have the most impact. And next, dealing with mismatch. How many of the people around you are mismatched to their jobs? When the mismatch is hard, the person trying to feel insecure but may not know what to do about it. How many complain and work and drain other people's energy? The best business leader recognize when a person natural talent don't fit the job and they have to confidence to take action. In the end, the key of success is coaching. People who do well in a job also need attention, and a true leader expands such employees' capacity by helping them channel their talents and develop their abilities so they can advance to the next level. Expanding capacity may mean giving the strength excitement that will help them to develop a new skills or gain a new perspective. So from Rancaran, we learn about if you want to success in business, the very important is the right people in the right jobs, dealing with mismatch, and doing the coaching.
Okay guys, let's move on to part 4. Your personal agenda. Your part in the big picture. Here is what you need to do. First, be fluent in the universal language of business. Second, keeping in mind customer, cash generation, return on invested capital, and growth. Your professional excellence alone is not sufficient. You need to think beyond that. Just like the street vendor, you need to think like a business person. If you do, your perspective will expand beyond a functional or departmental view to see the issue just like a business person. Your thinking will probably become more creative. As a result, you will feel empowered to ask questions in any meeting without a fear of hierarchy or embarrassment. Okay guys, then the question is how to do it. First thing first, you need to assess the total business. You need to making sure you understand the one that your organization is facing, because every organization faces different challenges. The second one, you need to cut through complexity. Make lists of all things that could affect your company ability in making money. The third one, profit focus. You need to do something that leads to grow. Please don't choose the status quo, because by deciding not to do anything, it means you decide your decision. You have decided to keep things as they are, and this is not good because it leads to stagnancy and no growth. The fourth one, help people to expand and synchronize to you. You don't need to be a top executive to develop other people's talent. Having said that, so to be a leader, you need to be able to have a business focus. You need to have the ability to building your best team as possible. You need to have the skill of synchronizations. If you doing so, you will be a leader of the business You will be a leader of the people. You will have the ability to synchronize the organization, and it makes money. Okay guys, now as for the closing remarks the point is to concentrate on things that make your company successful. First, taking care of customers. Second one, generating cash. Third one, earning a good return on invested capital. The fourth one, growing profitability. Now that you know what to look for in all other companies, including your own. Last but not least, you need to keep an eye on trends. If things change, you need to ask why. If the company stop growing, again, you need to ask why. If it begin gobbling cash, what's the reason? These are sort of questions that the CEO wants you to know. Okay guys, hopefully this is valuable to you and it will be beneficial to all of us. Okay guys, and that's all from Group 2. Together we profit. Cheers.